everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of never underestimating the power of narcissism, never underestimating where narcissism comes from. Narcissism is a serious, severe, and profound mental illness. It affects everybody connected to the person who has narcissism. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you are going to feel the narcissism. It's going to affect you. And it is absolutely crucial to understand that it will never change. A narcissist can't change. It's fixed. It's permanent. There is nobody in the history of the world who has ever successfully overcome narcissism and become a loving, kind, empathetic person. Hoping, dreaming, wishing, praying that this will be isn't going to make it happen. I know somebody who has cancer. When he was first diagnosed with cancer, he refused to believe it. He was in complete denial. He told me for a week he refused to believe it. It couldn't be true. He was too strong. He was too healthy. It wasn't true. After a week, it started sinking in, and he believed it, and he started getting treatment that could ultimately extend his life, help him. If he kept denying it, if he refused to believe that he had cancer, he might not be alive today because he wouldn't be doing what he had to do to help himself. That's like you when you're connected to somebody with narcissism. If you keep hoping, wishing, dreaming, denying that they really have this problem, that's going to affect your quality of life, your future. So please keep that in mind. Today I'm going to talk about a demonic element of narcissism. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but in today's video I'm going to talk about something that happened to my home that I believe is connected to my husband's narcissism. Some people believe, myself included, that narcissists are demonic, that they are demons. And if you believe in God, you know that a third of the angels left with Satan, and those angels came down to earth and are demons. That's who I believe. I know a lot of other people do too. If you do, please say so in the comments. I'm interested to know how many people believe this, that narcissists are demons. So we used to live in Massachusetts. In 2014, we moved to New Hampshire. Now, when we moved to New Hampshire, this is worth noting, I think, maybe not, but I'll just say it anyways. We moved to a house where the people that had lived in the house before us had only lived there for 9 months. They got divorced and they left. So I just find that worth noting. In 2016, we started having strange things happen in the house. This also coincided, and I don't believe in coincidences, so this coincided with my husband's mental health starting to take a decline. We started getting water around the house. So it started in the dining room. There was just these little puddles of water. And at first when I noticed them, I thought my dogs were having an accident, which was strange because that's not typical, but they do occasionally have accidents, so it was reasonable to assume that it was the dogs. Then it was happening every day. That was strange. So I started investigating it further instead of just cleaning it up, and I realized it wasn't urine, it was water. So I couldn't figure out where this water came from. Then shortly afterwards, it started coming from the kitchen. So we were getting puddles, actually not puddles, we were getting seepage all along the baseboards. So in the dining room was a puddle, and then in the kitchen wasn't a puddle, but it was just seeping up from the baseboard. But at least that made sense because, there's water in the kitchen. So I had a plumber come out. I thought something was leaking, obviously, and he told me nothing was leaking. Everything looked good. He had no idea where this water was coming from. Then we started getting water in the living room, right in the middle of the floor. So we have hardwood floors. It was just puddles right in the middle of the floor. It was very odd. It didn't appear to be coming from anywhere, and it started ruining the floor. The floorboards started getting rotten. They were turning gray. So we were looking down the basement because the basement was underneath it. It wasn't dripping down. There just seemed to be no reason for this water. Then it started coming up in the office upstairs, and it was happening right at my husband's desk. He had like a little desk area upstairs. That's where the water was. Every single day, it totally saturated the carpets. It started stinking up there. We had to rip part of the carpet out up there. We're trying to figure out where this water was coming from. So we had a roofer come over. So we thought maybe it's the roof. who knows? Maybe it's just seeping down. We have like high roofs. Maybe it's seeping down. It's getting downstairs somehow. Nope, it wasn't the roof. Then we started getting water dripping out of the walls, right in the center of the wall. Literally, there would just be all of a sudden, it would be like a teardrop. There'd just be water from the center of the wall, and it would just go down. There was no area where it was coming from. So then we decided to call a general contractor. Maybe he could figure this out. So we called the general contractor. He came over. He couldn't figure it out. He didn't know where this water was coming from. He'd never seen anything like this. It was the strangest thing. Then we started getting water in the closet. So you walk in the front door, there's like a little coat closet. There was puddles in there. It was ruining the floor. It was just every single day. And that one had been there for a while. The whole floor was ruined in there because I don't open that closet every day. So I didn't even see it there. But then we noticed it was there. It was damaging that. So the general contractor, he couldn't figure anything out. So then he told me, you know what? Because he was very surprised, and I was telling him that water was coming from the center of the wall. So he told me, next time this happens, call me. And if I'm in the area, I'm going to come right over. There has to be a reason for this water. We will figure this out. So it wasn't long afterwards. It was like the next day or the day after that it happened again. We started getting water right in the middle of the wall. So I called this guy. He comes over, and he said, can I rip a hole in your wall? I want to cut a hole out. There's got to be something behind this that's causing this water leakage. We're going to find out what it is. Today's the day. So I let him cut a hole in my wall, and there was nothing behind it. Nothing. Not one thing. At that point, the guy was kind of angry. I think I knew it. He didn't say it to me, but it was obvious. He thought I was like trying to pull his leg, telling him some lie. It wasn't a lie, but he believed that it was. So he took off. He left, and I never heard from him again. When I tried to call him, he wouldn't return my call. So obviously he thought I was some crazy lady. But the water continued. It kept happening. So then we called an insurance person. An insurance adjuster came over. And he had another general contractor come over to try to figure out the source of this. And they couldn't figure out the source of it. And of course, then the insurance company isn't going to spend any more money on us. So he told us that he could cover these things, but each individual water spot was going to be a separate deductible. And I can't remember now if the deductible was $500 or $1,000, but there was dozens of water spots all over the house. I mean, it was going to cost $15,000 before we even had anything started to be fixed. So to this day, I still have damage in my home because of this. So this went on. It went on for a while. It went on for over 2 years, actually 3 years. And my husband's mental health continued to go downhill. Now, in 2019 was a really bad year for my husband's mental health. And this was also the year that I saw something in my garage. So that summer, now in August of 2019, he had, I don't want to get too much into this. I have made other videos about this, just for the length of the video. So I'll just briefly go over it. His alcoholism had gotten really bad. He was drinking all the time. He wasn't coming home. He was passing out in his car. At one point in August of 2019, he had passed out in his car with a loaded gun. The police found him, tried to wake him up. He was incoherent. He couldn't speak to them. He was acting crazy. They carted him off to a mental hospital. Shortly before this, I can't remember now if it was in August or if it was in July, but that summer anyways, I saw a figure in my garage. So our garage goes into the house. It's not underneath the house. It's like you go in the driveway, you go in the garage, and you walk into the house. You don't have to go upstairs or anything. So one day, when we go in and out of the house, generally we go out the garage. So I was outside, and I was coming back in, and I was rounding the corner to go over to the garage, and I saw a black figure in my garage. It wasn't a black man. It was like, I was seeing it out of the corner of my eye. It was like shadow. The whole thing was like a black shadow, I guess, but it seemed to have a form, and it was like the height of a man, but it was completely black. I assumed, because I saw it out of the corner of my eye, I thought it was my husband. It was moving in the garage. I thought it was my husband in the garage, and since I saw it out of the corner of my eye, I wasn't really thinking anything of like the color or anything. So I went in the garage, and I'm calling out to him. I'm like, hey, honey, where are you? Honey, I'm calling out to him. He wasn't in the garage. Nobody was in the garage. My husband was upstairs. He was upstairs, 2 floors up. He couldn't possibly have been in the garage and rushed upstairs. I was coming around into the garage. So if somebody else had been in the garage, it's not possible that I wouldn't have seen them leave. So there was something in that garage. It was moving. It was an adult form. It was full form. It was fully black. I saw it. So that scared me. And then shortly afterwards, my husband had his big episode with the police and at the mental hospital. Now, around this same time, my son got terrified one day, and he rushed over to me, and he was white. He was terrified. He was really scared. He was in the office. He was sitting at his father's desk, and I can't remember what it is. I don't want to ask him because it's going to remind him of it and scare him. Something moved across the desk that nobody was touching. Maybe it was a stapler or tape. It was something like that. It moved like across the desk. He wouldn't go in that room for the longest time. There was some presence in there. There was something there. Now, in December of 2019, I kicked my husband out of the house. I've made another video about this, and I cannot remember the exact name of the video. I'll put it down in the description. I need to learn how to link videos, but I'll put the title down, the description. It's something like when the narcissist tries to get the police to arrest you, or when the narcissist gets the police involved, something like that. I'll put the title in the description if you're interested to watch that video to hear all about that. So he tried to get me arrested under false pretenses. So that is what ended our relationship. So he hasn't lived at the house since. When that happened, I actually started connecting him to this. And I started praying. I prayed on my knees in every single room in my house. I prayed and I asked God to remove any evilness in the house. I did this in every single room. We haven't had any water, any spirits, nothing, not one thing, nothing, since that day. We had this for years. Nobody knows the cause of it. I had multiple people over. It was unexplainable. I look like a crazy person to people, but this really happened. Since my praying, it went away. It's gone. It's completely gone. My children and I, it's been very stressful. We've had a difficult time dealing with the after effects of my husband, but my home is a peaceful place now. There's not drama. It's not chaotic. We have love in our home. It's a different reality. So I truly believe, now some people, maybe I am crazy. Some people will totally dismiss this, but if you have had a similar experience, if you're familiar with this type of thing, please put it in the comments. I would really be interested to hear about this. Truly, I believe that my husband has been demonically possessed, that he still is demonically possessed, that this is what caused all the problems that we had. The last few years where we were living together, the same time we were having this uptick in house issues, his mental health was so severely affected, it became impossible for my children and I to live with him, to have any measure of happiness. It was very bad. Since he's been gone, it's been so much better, and we've had none of this. So I know this is a little bit of a different video, but I thought maybe some of you would enjoy hearing about this, what happened. This is true. And I am interested to hear your own experiences. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please comment. I really am interested to hear. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm so grateful to everybody who has subscribed, everybody who has emailed me, who has commented. I'm very appreciative. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if all goes well, I will see you on Friday. God bless you.